I didn't know what else to say. I've always been successful at getting boohoos to move on, and that was without telling them my boohoo story. I pulled out all the stops with Metalhead, and it made no difference at all. Maybe he couldn't relate to Real Dog's story, or maybe once a robot dog's mind was made up, he couldn't change it. Metal is not a flexible material. I was considering my next step when Mouse tapped my leg and motioned for me to follow him. There wasn't much room in the trunk, as packed as it was. I climbed over a yoga mat, some hockey sticks, to where Mouse was digging in the donation box. He pulled up the hard corner of something. I thought maybe it was a manual, something to help us understand our metal friend. But it wasn't a manual. It was Green Eggs and Ham. I dragged the book to Metalhead. Metalhead, look! It was in the donation box. Jimmy's done with it. We can take it to Quinn. Quinn was suspended, he said. Right, but you know what suspended means. Temporary removal of a student, he said in his drone voice. Yeah, temporary. You know how excited Quinn was when you read to him? He'll be back. Metalhead nodded. His expression hadn't changed, but his blue lights began to flash brighter. I leaned in. What if he returns to reading buddies and his book isn't there? He might throw a fit. Do you want him to get suspended again? Metalhead shook his head, a tiny motion like a tremor, then a shake. You have to bring the book back to Quinn. You can deliver it, he said. But I can't read Green Eggs and Ham to Quinn. He doesn't understand, dog. You're his reading buddy. He doesn't want anyone else. I want to be home with Jimmy. This was a tough one. What could I say? I thought for a long time before I opened my mouth. You did your job. You helped Jimmy grow up. I paused, letting this sink in. It's Quinn who needs you now. Metalhead wasn't totally convinced, but all his lights were flashing extra bright. The blue, the white, and the yellow, and the bright yellow. I suspected this meant his steel heart was beating again. It didn't take much more to persuade him to return to Dogtown with us. He had just climbed out of the donation box when we heard footsteps. Jimmy's mom stomped to the trunk. I thought for sure she noticed us. We were right in plain sight. But she didn't look closely. I could have sworn I shut this, she said, and slammed the trunk shut. Bang. The world went dark. A moment later, the motor started up. The garage door opened and the car rolled out. We were on our way to the thrift store. At first we were terrified, but slowly our eyes adjusted to the dark. That's where a faint there was a faint light. There was a faint line of light around the truck's edges, which helped. We found an old tarp and hid beneath it. My paw wrapped around Green Eggs and Ham. Then the errand started. Each time we were pulled into a parking space, we held our breath. But stop after stop, the trunk stayed closed. Humans and their errands makes me glad I'm a dog. After 7 stops hiding under the tarp, the thrift store started to look pretty good. It was afternoon by the time Mom finally popped the lock. Mouse clung to my leg. This was it. But no. Mom grabbed her yoga mat and shut the trunk. A long time later, she put the mat back. By then, it was late afternoon. Had she forgotten about the thrift store? Once again, she started the car. We took a few turns, bumped over some potholes. Then the car stopped. The trunk opened. She lifted the donation box. She struggled to carry the box and close the trunk at the same time. She couldn't quite do it, so she left the trunk open. I peeked out from under the tarp and watched her duck into the thrift store. Metalhead got out first, clutching green eggs and ham. Then Mouse and I hopped out, taking cover under a nearby car. We were just thinking we made it when we heard Mom's squeaky sneakers headed in our direction. She leaned over the trunk and began digging inside. Had she noticed that Metalhead was not in the box, she took out the tarp, the yoga mat, the hockey sticks, the toilet paper, the largest teddy bear. She pawed around for a while before putting everything back. We heard her make a call on her cell phone. "Hi, honey. I'm at the thrift store. Strangest thing happened today. Remember that robot toy Jimmy loved so much?" She paused. "Uh-huh. Yeah, I thought we gave him away too, but apparently not. James got upset when he saw him, so I said I'd take him to the thrift store. I put him in the trunk and now he's gone." Excuse me. She paused again. "He was a strange toy. Remember we got him from that man at the flea market?" "Right. Yeah, maybe he was in the bottom of the box and I just didn't notice. Or maybe I'm losing it because I'm telling you, this has been the weirdest day." Another pause followed by a laugh. "You're getting pizza for dinner? You're going to get pizza for dinner? See, this is why I married you. Pizza solves everything. Okay, see you at home. Love you too." Mom closed the trunk and drove away. At first we were happy to be out of there. Then worry set in. Mouse and I were hungry and thirsty, and we had no idea how to get back to Dogtown. I peeked out from under the car. Generally I have a good sense of direction, but I had gotten turned around from all the stops. I didn't know if we were 50 yards from Dogtown or 50 miles. It was going to be dark soon. The day had been unseasonably warm, but nights were freezing. This wouldn't be a problem for Metalhead, but I was worried about Mouse. His fur wasn't thick like mine. And after what had happened with the dog sitter's boyfriend, I was terrified of the city streets at night. What if I lose another leg? I'd never seen a dog with 2 legs, which tells you something, doesn't it? "I've got to get back for poker night," I said. But still I didn't move. I couldn't decide whether to go right or left. Metalhead and Mouse nodded. They knew poker night was what kept me off the list. Then Mouse gestured wildly with his hands. He was worried about his brothers and sisters back at Dogtown, who would go hungry without him. I felt bad because Mouse hadn't wanted to come along in the first place. My charge is low. 5%. Oh, excuse me.